to The Whole Student, the podcast where we explore practical tools and have meaningful conversations to help college students manage stress, navigate change, and embrace the challenges of student life. So get comfortable and let's talk about how you can create your best college experience. Welcome to the very first episode of The Whole Student. I'm Dr. Noelani Pelk, a counseling psychologist by training and a professor in psychology. I'm so excited for you to be here. Whether you're a student, a sibling of a student, a faculty member, or someone who supports students in any capacity while they navigate uncertainty about the future, fear of failure, homesickness, busy brain, feeling like they've done a good enough job for the day, imposter syndrome, and feeling like they don't belong, I've been thinking about speaking with you for the last 5 years. Let me tell you a little bit about how the idea for this series emerged based on just regular conversations and experiences with my students, and what I hope we can do together to support you. So I started my career in training as a counselor and as a psychologist. And during that time, I've run therapy groups, I've trained in college counseling, I've worked in community outpatient, treated trauma, explored what leads to addiction, trained master's and doctoral students to become therapists, had lots of conversations about grief, focused on crisis work, and just around the transitions in life that are sometimes hard to manage. So when I became a faculty member, I realized that some of those same challenges, stress, anxiety, just generally feeling overwhelmed, and being a student while life is happening, were still very much present in the lives of my students. Life doesn't stop happening just because we're in class, and it's not easy sometimes to turn the page and focus on what's happening in academics. More than that, it's not always easy to ask for help or to know what resources to use, and many times college can be a lonely experience for a lot of students. 5 years ago, I transitioned to teaching mostly undergraduate students during the pandemic. And for those of you who taught or took classes at a distance during this time period, you probably remember it was exhausting. When we returned to the classroom, there were so many times where I could see it on their faces. Your faces, students present in body but not in mind or spirit. Some days there was a nervous energy or the weight of something that happened earlier that day and was showing up in our classroom. On many days, if I'm being honest, it's difficult to dive into course content until we address where students are in that moment. So I find myself starting classes by checking in the way that lots of faculty members do. How are you? What's happening in your life? Are you doing the things that plants need? Are you getting enough water and sunshine and sleep and 3 meals a day? Just the basics. And many times, this really wasn't enough. So I started leading short mindfulness and grounding exercises before or after class. For some of you, you're familiar with what these look like. For some of you, maybe these ideas are new, and I'm so excited for you to learn with me. Many of these experiences weren't long. They were just a few minutes to help students take a pause and breathe and kind of come back into their bodies for class. Usually just acknowledging and giving a real moment gave us enough opportunity to get back into the academic work rather than pretending it wasn't happening. And so what we know is that there is a critical mental health crisis impacting students across kindergarten through 12th grade, and particularly present for college students who are managing so many real concerns. So many college students are struggling with work-life balance and stressors and balancing extracurricular activities and preparing to be competitive in their field and learning how to live independently, making some really challenging financial decisions. So in my classes, we talk about those. We hope to prepare students for life beyond college, not just while they're in school. And what was really interesting was that over the years, students started asking if I could record these practices so that they could use them outside of class. Some of them jokingly, and sometimes seriously. They suggested that I start a podcast or make a repository of these resources. And I'll be honest, those requests planted a seed, but I wasn't really ready to grow that idea just yet. But I heard what students were saying. A couple of months ago, I attended a session for the Society for Teaching Psychology's annual conference, and I joined a morning session on non-traditional teaching projects with some incredible leaders in the field, including Garth Newfield, Eric Landrum, and Jane Hallinan. For some of you, these names might not exist in your repository, but for others, you've already read their work on teaching. What they really offered was a space to think outside the box and incubate an idea that might be dormant. And that's where this podcast really took shape. So I'm going to be entirely honest, and I'm going to tell you that I was the last person to discuss my idea. There was some uncertainty and anxiety and definitely a bit of imposter syndrome. Who am I to start a podcast? I don't even like public speaking, which is a real paradox as an educator. Those of you who know me know that it is not easy for me to stand up in front of people. But at the same time, there was also this spark of excitement and joy. And I wondered, what could I do if I could share these practices more broadly, not just with the students I get to see in my classroom every week, but with anybody who might need them. And what if you or someone you care about has stumbled onto this series, and maybe you found that you've learned at least one new coping tool to get you through each day? It would be so worth this project. And so if you can relate to any of those moments where you feel a spark of energy and a similarly scary moment of pause, you're in such good company. So I'm incredibly grateful for the support of STP, or the Society of Teaching of Psychology, for the encouragement of my colleagues. Their belief in this project has helped me open a door into the kinds of conversations that usually take place in my office, in the hallway, in our classrooms. This podcast is for anyone navigating the challenges of college life or supporting someone who is. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, unsure, or like you're juggling too much at once, you're absolutely not alone. If you've ever wished that you had some guidance or some real concrete tools and somebody to walk you through them, and then the opportunity to go back to these resources at any time that you want to, or to be able to play these episodes in the privacy of your dorm, on your way to class, before an exam, at night after a long day, then I invite you to join me. My hope is that through this series, you'll find tools and reflections and moments of mindfulness that nurture you as a whole student and person. So in our next episode, we step into a conversation that I have with students when they're working through the night or feeling like they're not doing enough. We're going to practice how to acknowledge the pressure and the urgency to do more while also creating permission to end your day or rest. All you're going to need is a comfortable place to lie down or to sit. We're going to walk through common thoughts that crop up. We're going to use dialectical behavioral theory tools to hold two opposing thoughts at once. We're going to integrate self-compassion so that you can use these phrases in your own lives. Thank you for spending this time with me on The Whole Student. Remember, you're more than just your grades, your tasks, or the roles that you take on in college. Take care of your whole self, and I'll meet you back here soon.